What's up, guys? This is war number 8 in season 21. We're matched with our good friends SAS, Super Andromeda Scrolls. These guys are great. A lot of the same values that 4 Loki has, so a lot of respect for these guys. Let's take a look at the map. I'm just going to highlight the paths that I'm going to be taking. I've got path 5 in section 1. We've got a moleman and a Nova. I'm going to bring Apocalypse for moleman because of his purify ability. That should be a good safe fight for Apocalypse. I just want to limit my heavy attacks because he has a chance with Monster Mass to resist heavy attacks, which is why he's placed there. It's good placement. And then I'll bring in my rank 3 Doctor Doom for that Nova. And, oh yeah, we're going over to path 8 in section 2. This is the first time that I've taken this path, I think, this season. I'll use Doctor Doom for Aegon. And then I'll use my newly rank 3 Black Widow Clairvoyant for both Storm X and Tigra. And what my plan is going to be with Claire is to use a Power Start 1 boost and some Mystic Power boosts. And what I'll do is I want to get to an SP2 as quickly as I can. Same thing with Magic. And I want to get to my Poison Curse. So I'll just go medium, light, 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 to switch from my Bleed Curse to my Poison Curse. Poison Curse, of course, helps control the SP3 with Poison Curse up helps control power, so it'll reduce power drain a little bit. And I'm just going to use that strategy for both of these fights. The reason that this fight or this node is so tricky is because it's got kinetic transference and powerful from afar. So especially Mystic Defenders, for example, with Mystic Dispersion activated, the power on this node can just get out of hand pretty quickly. But I'll be using Clairvoyant there. Her attack is really, really, really crazy, so it should be good. It should work out really well. And then I'm also going to take this Dragon Man on node 49 with Claire. Same exact strategy. I want to get to my Poison Curse. Let's go ahead and join up. Alright, we've joined. We're moving to fight number 1. And then I will be backing out and you guys can see me in the fights. Alright, so moleman, and I said that this fight was going to be easy when I was scouting. Nice little foreshadowing here. So he has 1 Monster Mass, which happens because I inflicted a debuff on him. Now he won't be able to purify my stuns because Apocalypse reduces purify ability accuracy by 100%. However, with that Monster Mass, he has, I believe, a 70% chance to resist a block break or a heavy attack. So that really hampers Apocalypse's rotation. Obviously, with Apocalypse, ideally you'd like to be able to refresh the debuffs that you inflict by using that heavy, but it's too risky. So I really need to wait until that Monster Mass is used or falls off before I can heavy him again safely. I do try it here. He resists, he parries, and then he combos me. So basically, Apocalypse is not going to be the most advisable option on this node. The most advisable option is going to be Omega Red. I believe, and I'm going to have to fact check this, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, but Omega Red with at least 10 death scores on moleman should, well, he can't be purified, I know that for sure, and I'm not sure if that prevents him from being able to shrug off, resist the block break. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but even still, Omega Red's going to be a more preferable option than Apocalypse here. So, I'm just scared of that Monster Mass, and I need to knock him down. I can still knock him down using my special attacks, which is what I do here. But I do have suicides on for this fight, and you guys can see that the recoil is going to hurt me a little bit. So basically at this point in the fight, I know that this is going to be a much longer fight than I anticipated, and I need to just be super safe. I have to resist my instinct to charge into his block or to hit block to keep spacing and all that stuff, and I'm not going to punish that special because previously in the fight I tried punishing it and I mistimed it. So I'm essentially playing scared right now, and I'm like, alright, I just need to throw my SP3, but I know that the SP3 for some reason doesn't count as a knockdown towards the node protection, which is outrageous. So he's still going to have this protection up, but at least I saved myself the recoil damage, and it did pretty good damage, about 7% even with the protection up, and it inflicts 2 debuffs on him. Of course, so with only 1 genetic charge, Apocalypse inflicts 2 of his 4 debuffs at random, and if you guys notice, the debuffs that were randomly selected to be inflicted were 2 utility debuffs, weakness and concussion. The other 2 debuffs that he inflicts are degen and poison. Those would have helped me a lot because it's extra free damage, but instead I get the 2 that help me the least, which is pretty funny. Here I do go ahead and use my SP2 so that I can inflict that degen. I'll knock him down, and then you know, obviously that degen will help me a little bit with the damage, but I should be fine here unless I make a mistake. This was just an awful fight, a terrible start to the war, but fortunately we didn't die here, and frankly in high tier war that's all that matters. Ugly fights suck and they're embarrassing and they cost a lot, but you know, no harm, no foul ultimately. So here I've got this Nova. I have this sped up 2.5 times the normal speed. I do take a couple little hits, just silly mistakes, but I mean nothing that puts me in danger at any point in this fight. So what I want to do is build up to that second Fury just so I can end this fight as quickly as possible. So I throw my second SP3, that almost does it, and then before I can even get to my SP1, he's down. Alright, so Path 8 in Section 2, this has passive heal block. It's got Powerful from Afar on the second fight, and then whoever has more debuffs, or I'm sorry, if the defender has more buffs, then I'll have a weakness put on me. So I know going into this fight with Dr. Doom, it's gonna take me a while to ramp this up because every hit that I inflict on Aegon, he's gonna get a Fury. I actually think that Clairvoyant would have been the smarter choice here because I could have used her SP2 to inflict buff immunity, then I wouldn't have had to deal with the weaknesses at all. But that's why I threw the SP when I was like, oh, I'll just nullify these, but then they still count as hits. So what I'm going to do is I'm switching this up and I'm just going to go to the SP3, which is what I should have done from the beginning. This is another fight that with Dr. Doom, there is as close to no danger as possible. Just get to your SP3, go through the normal Doom cycle, try to stack 2 Furies, and your SP2 will do plenty of damage even with the weaknesses. So that's what I do here. I go SP3, and then, I mean, even that one with, I don't know how many weaknesses I had on me, but that one did quite a bit of damage. I'll throw the SP2 just to gain a little bit of power there, and then I think I'm actually going to go for the SP2, or I'm sorry, I threw the SP1, I think I'm going for the SP2 here. It doesn't do as much power as I wanted, so instead, I'm pretty sure I build up to another SP3, but I might have just thrown this SP2. Yeah, I'm going to throw this SP2, and this will actually finish him off, I think. Nearly. So, yeah, I don't know. Sloppy fight, but easy fight. Alright, this next one, my idea going into this was use Clairvoyant, get to my SP2, inflict buff immunity, and then she won't be able to gain her prowesses. Without her prowesses, you don't really have to worry about much in this fight. Now, I did do some duels, and I was not inflicting buff immunity on every SP2. So that worried me. I should have brought that up in our chat and talked it out, but at this point our backup had already gone elsewhere, so I had to take the fight regardless. I decided, you know what, it should be fine. Maybe it was just a dual bug. So that's my strategy in this fight, and you guys are going to see a terrible bug here, and you'll see the consequences of that bug. So I do have a PS1 here. Again, what I want to do, she glances 60% of incoming attacks. That's why I didn't nullify on that first combo. So here I throw my SP2, and at activation it's supposed to inflict buff immunity, which you guys can clearly see it did not do. So now I'm like, alright, she's got powerful from afar, she's gaining power. Now she's at over 5 prowesses with an SP2, which means that her SP2 is going to be fully unblockable. So I need to get to my own SP2 and throw it, number one, to reduce her power, but I'm also hoping that this one will inflict buff immunity. I launch it, at activation it's supposed to inflict, it doesn't. So at this point, I'm just toast unless I fully evade the SP2, which I've never done. So she just vaporizes me. Alright, and then I'm going to go back in with Dr. Doom, and while you guys are watching that fight, which is not an ideal option, but it definitely works, you just have to be careful of your shocks not being applied, so don't try to passively stun her. But I'm going to talk through what caused the bug. Alright, so Legacy and Karate Mike both provided this intel, and I think that they're 100% correct. Because Clairvoyance SP2 inflicts buff immunity on the SP2 activation and not after the SP2 has completed all of its hits, the last hit of your combo when you're chaining a combo into your SP2, which is glanced by Storm, the glancing somehow carries over. So it's really just Claire. It's kind of a specific interaction to Claire because her buff immunity is inflicted upon SP2 activation, and I mean 99% of the time you're going to chain that SP2 off of a combo. So that's why that happens. It is a bug. It is really annoying. I hate dying in war, and I certainly hate dying to something that's completely out of my control. I know that when I posted this on Twitter, some people were like, well, I would never let her get to an SP2. Well, of course you wouldn't, because you didn't take that fight, and with Powerful from Afar, you guys can see there that obviously it's not, if a defender is being passive, there's not always anything that you can do. It's not like you have full control over the fight. So, super frustrating. I ended up getting destroyed. I had to change my masteries twice in a row, take off Suicides to finish with Doom, and then reapply them for this Dragon Man fight. Or I'm sorry, for these next two fights with Clairvoyant. And I have another PS1 boost on. This fight does pretty much work out to plan, even though it ends up being a little bit sloppy. I think that I took a couple hits. Just screwing up. So like here, hold on, I definitely make a mistake at some point, but I throw the SP2, which is going to reduce her power a little bit and then inflict buff immunity. I also have Mystic Power back boost, which is why I'm able to get all that power back from my special, and then this is going to end up killing her. But like at this point I'm super frustrated, like in the war, putting myself back in time to when these fights were taking place. I'm super frustrated. I have another PS1 boost on and active right now, so I'm going to this Dragon Man fight. It probably would have been smart of me to just take a breather, you know, forget the PS1 boost. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, and not taking this fight for a little bit, let myself cool off, did a couple duels, but I didn't. I go right into this fight, and this fight is a complete nightmare. It's the worst fight of my season, bar none. And, you know, that includes the Apocalypse fight that that I showed you guys at the beginning of this video. So here I get hit, alright, and then what I should have done here was go for a full combo to change my curse, but I was worried about getting to an SP3 on accident, in which case I wouldn't have been able to inflict buff immunity, and then also the spacing. I threw my SP2, I get poisoned, so now I'm like, alright, cool, I just need to switch my curses here, but by that point, the phase had already changed to incinerate phase, and I stupidly threw another SP2, so I'm being incinerated. And then here, because I'm such low health, I'm like, oh my god, I panic. I need to throw this SP3. But again, I should have thrown a full combo ending with a light attack to switch to incinerate immunity. I don't do that. And I'm just incinerating. And then here, I try to fully dex the SP2. I mess up on the last part, and he pops me. So awful fight, just compounding mistakes, which are almost always what causes deaths in Alliance War, unless you're up against very special nodes or defenders that can one-shot you from one mistake. Usually, deaths come from compounding mistakes. RBG cleared with only 3 deaths. 2 of those were mine. 1 of those was a bug. And that was the war for me. Pretty rough war. Mike and BG1 got the silver card for, I think, the 3rd war in a row. B. Manny, the leader, got the gold card, and then Legacy and BG3 got the boss solo. He got the platinum card. That's it for this war. Leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.